welcome back. I have a question for you. What will happen if you don't eat for a day or two? You will feel hungry and weak, right? Food is essential for all living organisms. Food gives us energy for work. It gives us energy to play, to do all the kind of activities. It also helps us to keep our body warm. Food also helps in growth and development. Food also helps us to keep healthy. We cannot live without food. So what kind of food should we eat? What is the role of various kind of food? In this chapter, Component of Food, we shall try to seek answer to these questions. So today, we are going to start with chapter 2, Component of Food. So let's see what are the learning objectives of this lesson. In this lesson, we will learn about what are nutrients. We will identify different components of food as macro and micronutrients, that is carbohydrate, fats, proteins, vitamins and minerals. We will study the sources of each of these components. We will also learn about some food tests done for carbohydrate, proteins and fat. We will also learn about functions of different components of food. We will define what is balanced diet, and at the end of the chapter, we will try to understand deficiency diseases and their cause. We know that food that we eat contain different nutrients. When we start our day with a breakfast till we go to sleep, we have a dinner, we eat various kind of food. We don't like to eat same kind of food every day. We will feel bored of eating the same kind of food. So we have variety of food. What is present in this food? Why these foods are important and why we should have variety of food. So let's check it out. Before that, I have a question for you. What are nutrients? Nutrients are substances that are present in food that are essential for healthy growth and proper functioning of our body. All the food that we eat contain different nutrients. And these different nutrients are essential. So let us see what is the importance of food, or why do we need to eat food. As I have told you, food provides energy. It also helps in growth and development. It protects from different diseases. It helps us to overcome wear and tear. In today's class, in our lesson, we will try to seek answer to these kind of questions. Means what kind of food gives us energy? Which food helps in growth and development? Which food protects us from diseases? And which food helps in wear and tear? Component. What are different components of food? Food that we eat contain different components. So what are these components? It is divided into two main parts or two main components. We have nutrients and supplements. There are 5 major nutrients, that is carbohydrate, fats, proteins, vitamins and minerals. And other than this, there are 2 main supplements, that is dietary fibers, also called roughage, and water. Nutrient and supplement are the different components of food which are very essential for the growth and development. These nutrients can be divided into 2 subparts. Carbohydrate, fats and proteins are termed as macronutrient or major nutrient. Whereas vitamins and minerals is termed as micronutrient or minor nutrient. Macronutrients mean the nutrient which are needed by our body in large quantity. So macronutrient is needed by our body in large quantity. Whereas micronutrients mean those nutrients which are needed by our body in very small quantity. Let us understand the first component of food, that is carbohydrate. Carbohydrates are called energy giving food. These are rich sources of energy. Carbohydrates are made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. For example, glucose, which is one form of carbohydrate, is made up of 6 atoms of carbon, 12 atoms of hydrogen and 6 atoms of oxygen. So it is read as C6H12O6. Carbohydrates are of two main types. These are simple and complex. Now what is simple carbohydrate? Simple carbohydrate is also known as sugar, whereas complex carbohydrate is also known as starch. So starch and sugar, these are two different forms of carbohydrates. Let us understand this simple and complex carbohydrates in detail. We have simple carbohydrates. As the term suggests, simple carbohydrates means those carbohydrates which can be easily digested by our body. These are also known as sugar. Now, what are the different simple carbohydrates? There are different types of simple carbohydrates. There are sucrose, fructose, lactose, glucose. These are names of different simple carbohydrates. Sucrose is also called table sugar, that the sugar that we eat or sugar that we buy from the market, which we obtain from sugarcane. Honey is also example of sucrose. Then fructose or maltose. These are present in fruits and fruit juices. Lactose is present in milk, whereas glucose is present in some fruits and vegetables. Now, what is the function of this simple carbohydrate? As the name suggests, simple carbohydrate, it is simple. Structure is simple and it gives us energy very quickly. That is, it gets digested very quickly by our body. Some of these simple carbohydrates are high in calories and low in nutritional value. Like we have candies, sugar syrup, carbonated drink. These are rich sources of simple carbohydrates. But these, as we know, these are high in calories and these are not good for our health. Let us see the complex carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrate is also known as starch. What are the different sources of starch? Cereals like rice, wheat, maize, potatoes, sweet potatoes, all these are rich sources of starch. What is the function of starch? It releases energy very slowly. As starch, why do it release energy very slowly? As starch is converted into glucose during digestion. So during digestion process, the complex carbohydrate will get broken down into simple carbohydrate, that is sugar, and sugar form of carbohydrate can be easily absorbed by our body, and therefore this releases energy very slowly. So the glucose, then it is utilized by our body, it will give energy or provide energy to our body. What is the daily requirement of complex carbohydrate? An average adult needs 70 to 80 grams of carbohydrate in a day. So this is the daily requirement of complex carbohydrate. These are pictures of different complex carbohydrates. We have potato, wheat, rice, corn. These are rich sources of complex carbohydrate, whereas fruit, table sugar, milk are sources of simple form of carbohydrate. So let us compare both the types of carbohydrates. We have simple carbohydrate, another name is sugar. Complex carbohydrate is mostly starch. It digests rapidly, means very quickly. Complex carbohydrate digests very slowly. It provides us immediate energy. Complex carbohydrate releases energy at a very slow rate. We will soon feel hungry once we consume simple carbohydrate rich food. Whereas our body will be fuller and we will not feel hungry for a long time. And as we know, these are found in fruits, milk, and anything that is sweetened. And these are high in calorie content. So we should consume them in an adequate amount. So what we have learned in today's class, we have learned about what are nutrients. We have identified macronutrient, that is carbohydrate, fats and proteins. We have learned about sources and functions of carbohydrate as macronutrient. In our next class, we shall learn about proteins. Thank you.